Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shri Srimad Bhagavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Koho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogobinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrinda Devi Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Mathura Dham Ki Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Paridham Ki Shri Dwarka Paridham Ki Shri Ayodhya Paridham Ki Shri Shri Kishore Kishori Mandir Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Hare Krishna Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Excuse me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Skanda 9, Adhyaya 6, Shloka 41 and 42. What do you have up here? Sahasra Sugandha. Savichin. No, Sababash. This is at the end. How many verses are there? Okay. So beginning from 41, 42. That's where the marker is. So I'll just read all the verses up to this verse, right? Savichintya priyam strinam jadatoham asammataha bali palita valipalita ejatka idyaham pratyudahritaha sadhayishye tatatmanam surastrinam abhipsitam kim punar manu jendranam iti vyavasitaf prabhu. Translation. Sobari Muni thought, I am now feeble because of old age. My hair has become gray. My skin is slack, and my head always trembles. Besides, I am a yogi. Therefore, women do not like me. Since the king has thus rejected me, I shall reform my body in such a way as to be desirable even to celestial women, what to speak of the daughters of worldly kings. Munif praveshita kshatra kanyantaf puram riddhimat vritasaraja kanyabhir ekam panchashatavaraha. Therefore, when Sobari Muni became quite a young and beautiful person, I guess by the power of yoga, he transformed his body. Mystic power. Otherwise, how is it possible? The messenger of the palace took him inside the residential quarters of the princesses, which were extremely opulent. All 50 princesses then accepted him as their husband, although he was only one man. Tasam kalirabhud bhoyams tadato tadorthe pohyaso hridham mamanurupo nayamba iti tadgata chetasam. Thereafter the princesses, being attracted by Sobari Muni, gave up their sisterly relationship and quarreled among themselves, each one of them contending, this man is just suitable for me and not for you. In this way there ensued a great disagreement. Sabhavachasthabhipari sabhavrichasthabharipariniya tapashriyanardhya parichadeshu griheshu nano pavanamalam bhas sarasuso gandhaka kananeshu. This is the verse on the board. First one. That's over. Maharhashyasana vastrabhushanas Nananulepa Vyavaharamhalyakaihi Svalankrita Stri Purusheshu Nityada Remenugayad Dvijabring Dvijabringa Vandishu. So we'll do the first verse. Griheshu nano pavanamalam. Oh, my God, that's in the middle. Sabhavrichas tabhiraparaniya. Sabhavrichas tabhiraparaniya. Tapashriyan arghya parichadeshu. Tapashriyan arghya parichadeshu. Griheshu nano pavanamalam. Sarasuso gandhika kananeshu. Sabhavrachasthabhiraparaniya. Tapashriyan arghya parichadeshu. Griheshu nano pavanamalam. Sarasuso gandhi kakananeshu. Try it. Sabhavrachasthabhiraparaniya. Tapashriyan arghya parichadeshu. Griheshu nano pavanamalam. Sarasu koso gandhika kananeshu. Sabhavrachasthabhiraparaniya. Tapashriyan arghya parichadeshu. Griheshu nano pavanamalam. Sarjasu ghaso gandhika kananeshu. Sabhavrachasthabhiraparaniya. Tapashriyan arghya parichadeshu. Griheshu nano pavanamalam. Sarasu saugandhika kananeshu. Sabhavrachasthabhiraparaniya. Tapashriyan arghya parichadeshu. Griheshu nano pavanamalam. Sarasu saugandhika kananeshu. Sabhavrachasthabhiraparaniya. Tapashriyan arghya parichadeshu. Griheshu nano pavanamalam. Sarasu saugandhika kananeshu sabhavrichastabhiraparaniha tapashriyan argya parichadeshu griheshu nanopavanamalambhas sarasu saugandhika kananeshu. That's all? Anyone else? Padapataha, reading the words. Pada, words. Pataha, reading. Padapataha. No, you don't want to repeat that? Saha, he. Sobari Rishi. Bahurichaha, quite expert in utilizing Vedic mantras. Tabihi, with his wives. Aparaniya, unlimited. Tapaha, the result of austerity. Shriya, by opulences. Anarghya, paraphernalia for enjoyment. Parichadeshu, equipped with different garments and dresses. Griheshu, in the house and rooms. Nana, varieties of. You say this word every day? Although I'm not saying it every day because I'm not coming in Mangalarati the last few days. You know this word? Nana. Shringara tan, what is it? Nana Shringara. Tan man, yeah, Shri Vigraharadhana, Nitya, Nana Shringara. Now you know the meaning of the word Nana? Varieties of. Right? Shri Vigraharadhana, Nitya. Nana Shringara, different varieties of dresses. Shringara is dresses. Here, Nana varieties of. Upavana, park, wait a minute, excuse me, yeah, parks. Amala, clean. Mala is dirty, amala, clean. Mala. That word is used, right? Kalimala, the dirt of Kali Yuga. You've heard that, right? No? Kalimala. Kalimala Nashanam, to destroy the dirt of Kali. Amala, clean. Ambaha, water. How many words in Sanskrit for water? Anybody know? How about 150? Sarasu, in lakes. Gandhika, very fragrant. Kananeshu, in gardens. Maha-arha, very costly. Shayya, bedding. Asana, sitting places. Anulepa, oh sorry, Vastra, clothing. Bhushana, of ornaments. Abhushana is another word. It sounds like not ornaments because of the a, but it also means ornaments. Bhushana and abhushana. Snana, bathing places. Anulepa, sandalwood. Abhyavahara, palatable dishes. Malyakaihi, with garlands, and with garlands. Sualankrita, properly dressed and decorated. Stri, women. Purusheshu, with men also. Nityada, constantly. Reme, enjoyed. Anugayat, followed by the singing of Dvija, birds. This is different from Dvija, second, twice born. Bringa, bumblebees. Vandishu, and professional singers. Vandi means to, you know this every day. Vande Guru Shri Charanardavindam, right? You sing it every day. Vande, I bow. Vandishu, those who glorify others by singing. So previously there were kings, now there are no kings. And there were Vandijan, those persons who every day came to the palace in the morning and glorified the king. Vandijan, Vandishu, professional singers. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Because Sobari Muni was expert in chanting mantras perfectly, his severe austerities resulted in an opulent home with garments, ornaments, properly dressed and decorated maidservants and manservants, and varieties of parks with clear water, lakes and gardens. In the gardens, fragrant with varieties of flowers, birds chirped and bees hummed, surrounded by professional singers. The birds are chirping now, isn't it? I hear quite a few birds chirping. Bees hummed, surrounded by professional singers. Sobari Muni's home was amply provided with valuable beds, seats, ornaments, and arrangements for bathing. And there were varieties of sandalwood creams, flower garlands, and palatable dishes. Thus, surrounded by opulent paraphernalia, the Muni engaged in family affairs with his numerous wives. Purport: Sobari Rishi was a great yogi. Yogic perfection makes available 8 material opulences: Anima, Laghima, Mahima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishitva, Vashitva, and Kama Vasayita. Sobari Muni exhibited super excellence in material enjoyment by dint of his yogic perfection. As material opulence can be achieved, I skipped something here. The word Bhavricha means expert in chanting mantras. As material opulence can be achieved by ordinary material means, it can also be achieved by subtle means through mantras. By chanting mantras, Sobari Muni arranged for material opulence, but this was not perfection in life. As it will be seen, Sobari Muni became very dissatisfied with material opulence and thus left everything and re-entered the forest in the Vanaprastha order and achieved final success. Those who are not Atma Tattva Vit, who do not know the spiritual value of life, can be satisfied with external material opulences. But those who are Atma Tattva Vit are not inspired by material opulence. This is the instruction we can derive from the life and activities of Sobari Muni. So the Vedas consist of mantras. I go around and ask people, how many shlokas are there in the Vedas? The answer is none. There are no shlokas in the Vedas. The Vedas are mantras. Richa is a type of a meter. That's the word in English. The meter, the Veda mantras have certain meters, chandas, richas. Gayatri is a Vedic mantra, right? Gayatri mantra. Ishopanishad is Veda mantra. ISKCON publishes Ishopanishad. The Rig Veda has 10,000 mantras. That's the largest of the 4 Vedas. So Shobhari Muni was a Vedic rishi. When we say rishi, Muni, these words mean someone who in the childhood memorized the Vedas. Not that a rishi or Muni is someone with a long beard. Right? This is what, when you think of Muni or rishi, I don't know, they have pictures and they usually depict the rishis and the munis having a long beard. Right? But what does it mean, rishi? What does it mean? Great rishi. Right? Became a famous person in the last 50 years. Or there was a person who was called a great sage. Rishi means sage. Muni means sage in English. Great Muni, great Rishi, because he was expert in performing Vedic sacrifices by chanting the Vedic mantras. The Vedas are divided into 4 parts. The Samhita, the mantras. The Brahmanas, how to apply the mantras in various sacrifices. And also how to live in the Grihastha ashram. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka. Aranyaka means different mantras that were chanted in the forest. Aranya is forest. And the last part of the Vedas, interactive here. Come on, tell me. Upanishads. Upa, come close. Nishada, Upanishada. Come close and sit near the Guru so you can hear Atma Tattva, Atma Tattva Jnanam. Atma Tattva Vit, one who knows Atma Tattva, the science of the soul. That science is called Jnana or Vijnana. Actually, it's Jnana or Vijnana in Sanskritam. In Hindi, we say Jnana. Hindi, Bengali, they say Jnana. In Marathi, they say Dhyana. But in Sanskrit, if you go in the pronunciation guide here in the back of the book, if you actually read it, Ja and Nya come together. Jnana. So, Atma Tattva Vijnana or Jnana. Knowledge of Atma, Tattva, truth. The truth of the soul. Well, the truth is we can't see the soul. We can understand its existence. Gita says, Pratyakshavagaman dharmyam. Right? Pratyaksha is direct perception. Direct perception may not be full seeing. May not be full seeing. Just like the scientists can't see the atom. But they've been able to produce nuclear energy on the basis of the theory of the atom. So there's theoretical physics and there's, what's the other physics? Applied physics. Right? And there's another word. What do they have, these academic words? Theoretical is the science of what can be done with the knowledge of the atom. Physics. And then there's applied physics, how to make nuclear weapons and nuclear reactors where electricity is produced so we can have an air-conditioned place. This place is not air-conditioned, right? The fans are running. The windows are open. Modern society is enamored by material pleasure, but here in the Bhagavatam, right? I didn't write it. 5,000 years old. There's a description of how to enjoy material pleasure by a yogi, no less. By someone who knew the Vedas. Who else knew the Vedas and fell down? Who else studied Vedas in his childhood and fell down in the Bhagavatam? Interactive. Ajamil. You just won $1 million. Imaginary dollars. Right? Isn't it the $1 million question? Who wants to be a millionaire? So Ajamil also studied the Vedas. And he was a Grihastha. He had a wife and he was situated in, a comfortable life. But when he saw a low-class woman in the forest embracing a low-class man, he went crazy for her. And here it's a similar situation, isn't it? Similar situation, except, Shobhati was a Brahmana. He studied the Vedas. And he became expert in yogic powers. He lived a long life. Jamil fell down in his youth and became a rogue. Shobhati was a good man. He was a sage, an old person, wise in years. But the attraction for sense gratification was so great, and he was so powerful that he was able to change his physical appearance. How is it possible? Yoga Shakti. Prabhupada describes here the different yoga siddhis, perfections of yogic power. Yogic means mystical, not ordinary. Ordinary people cannot attain these powers. So Shobhati was expert at chanting mantras. Number 1, he studied the Vedas. Number 2, he performed great austerities. Bhavya Richas Thabir Aparaniya Tapaha Shriyang Gargya. So that the word tapaha here in the shloka, because Bhagavatam consists of shlokas, not mantras, means he performed austerities. Exactly what austerities, I don't think it says. Hiranyakashipu stood on one leg for how many thousands of years? 10,000? Anybody know? 10,000? The ants ate his body. All that was left was bones. I don't think he had even skin, right? There's a picture they made, a painting. How is it possible? Adbhutam. It's again wonderful. Standing in one place without food. How is it possible? And for thousands of years. Trees can do it. Trees, right? There are trees. Well, the scientists speculate, right? Some of these old trees are 300, 400 years old. I think isn't that the limit? How long can the trees stand? It's hard to say because we don't live that long, isn't it? There has to be some speculation involved. Some of the trees' lives are noted by one generation and passed down to the next generation, so that's how they know. But a person standing in one place for thousands of years. Krishna's parents, right? What was it? Prishni and Sutapa in the previous Purva Janma performed austerities for 50,000 years. We can't imagine this. To go for one day without food. I have seen, people who are very learned. That was on the recently Pandava, Bhimsen Ekadasi. 3 of us were traveling in South India. It's not a month ago, right? About a month back. What was it? 5th of June, I recall. And somehow or other, in the evening we traveled. And you're not supposed to travel on Ekadasi, but we had already booked the tickets in the train. It's an overnight journey. And somehow or other, I'm not so great. I have a lot of faults, but I didn't drink water somehow. But the devotees I was with, they could not do it. They could not refrain from water for a day. So where austerities for thousands of years, it's very difficult, to say the least, isn't it? We can only imagine. So whoever performs austerities, they can achieve material pleasures. Just like devotees asked Prabhupada about the Beatles, right? At the time, somehow or other, Prabhupada came in touch with the Beatles. Well, the Shyam Sundar was a, what do you call it? Nimitta. Nimitta instrument. The book is out, the big book, Chasing Rhinos with the Swami. I didn't read the book, but I saw all the pictures of, Prabhupada and the Beatles. They were extremely famous. They were extremely rich. And they facilitated Prabhupada for some short period. And as we know, George Harrison later on became quite charitable to Prabhupada. Quite inclined, came to Vrindavan, put on tilak, bead bag. He kept coming to India again and again and associating with ISKCON. So devotees said, how did they become so rich and famous? Well, they were devatas in their previous janma, fallen from the heavenly planets. Prabhupada said like that. And Gita says like that, Suchinam Srimatam Gehe, Yoga Brashta Abhijayate. Yoga again is there. Yoga Brashta, one whose yoga is broken, gets a good birth. What to speak of someone whose yoga is not broken, like Sobari Muni. His yoga, he perfected to a certain extent, and then he used that to enjoy sense pleasure. We haven't given up sense pleasure because we're taking prasadam. We say taking prasadam is transcendental, but in the Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada wrote, when it's, the 6 principles, what is it? 6 things that destroy bhakti. Atyahara is the first one. Eating too much. Ati is, the word ati means too much. Atirati, a great charioteer. Charioteer means a chariot warrior. Not the person who's driving the chariot. Only Krishna got credit for driving Arjuna's chariot. Otherwise, Atirati is someone who fights from a chariot very expertly. Maharati, Atirati. Ati, ahar, too much food. One disciple of Prabhupada was a very big-bodied devotee, and he asked Prabhupada, can you give me sannyas? I want to take sannyas. And Prabhupada said, fat but not fit. Fat but not fit. Later on, he took sannyas outside of ISKCON, and he's favorable to ISKCON, but he's not in ISKCON. Anyway, sorry, it's a diversion. So, Atyahara is the first. You're all qualified here, because I'm the only one who's guilty of Atyahara. I see all skinny people sitting here, except for me. So I'm guilty. I'm sitting here, I'm the guilty person. Prabhupada said in that purport, Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha lolyam cha shadvir bhakti vinashyati. 6 things destroy bhakti. Too much eating, over endeavor, Atyahara prayashascha prajalpaha. Talking, too much talking. Actually, jalpa means talking. Prajalpa, a lot of talking. So Prabhupada said Gramya Katha, but Gramya Katha is a different word from Prajalpa. Prajalpa means a lot of talking. But when you talk a lot, you usually talk about mundane things. Last night we were together with Subal Prabhu at the lake, at the Great Lake. And one couple was walking by and they were saying, is Trump going to do this? Is Trump going to do that? Well, naturally, it's, people talk about the news. New means something new. News is something new, right? But talking about all of that is prajalpa, too much talking. Niyamagraha. being fanatic about following the rules and regulations or not following them at all. Agraha means, niyama means rules and regulations. So agraha or agraha, depending on whether you pronounce it long or short. Micromanaging everything. You know, there are leaders like that. I don't want to mention any names. And I probably am guilty of that myself on many occasions. Why are you bowing down like this? You're supposed to bow down. It's just an example. Too much fanaticism. Prajalpo niyamagra janasangascha, associating with worldly people. What does it mean? When we go to preach, we have to talk to everybody. You have to talk with materialistic persons. Then you shouldn't go to preach. If you're very strict, Jansangaha, associating with Jana is just a person. Vishnu Jan, Hari Jan, who's a person of Vishnu, right? Somebody who's a devotee. Jana Sangaha, associating. So these things destroy bhakti. First thing is atyahara. And here, what's the word? Abhyavahara. Abhyavahara. Palatable dishes. So sense gratification means even prasad we should not take. And if you associate with worldly people, come on, let's go and eat. The first thing, right? Bhunkte bhojayate, same Upadeshamrita. Feeding someone and being fed by someone. Devotees do that. Bhunkte bhojayate, they feed other devotees and they accept invitations at the homes of devotees. So, bhakti is destroyed by these things, but great yogis fall down. Vishwamitra is the other example, but that's in the Ramayana, not in, or Mahabharata, not in the Bhagavatam, the story. So this great sage fell down. He got immersed in material activities. He had many wives, like a king. He was living like a king without being a king. He was married to the daughters of the king, 50 of them. We can only imagine the type of pleasures that he enjoyed, and we may aspire to in the mind, but practically we cannot attain all those pleasures. But Atma Tattva Vid, Prabhupada says, if you are really, if you know the self, which is not the material body, then you become detached from material pleasure. Very difficult. Very difficult. The recommendation is read the pastimes of Krishna, right, in the Bhagavatam later on. We're getting close. 9th canto is close to the 10th canto, and that's where the Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. If you hear Krishna Katha, you can become detached. Hopefully. Hopefully. Very few actually become detached. That's our experience. The principles are there. The facility is there, but to actually achieve, it's not easy. Therefore, there's the verse, right, in the Upanishads. Durgam patastat kavayo vadanti. What's the beginning of that? I'm forgetting. Kshurasya dhara nihita duratyaya. That's incomplete. But spiritual life is like the razor's edge. Kshura, blade. Dhara. Dhara is the edge. Kshurasya dhara, the edge of the blade. Nihita duratyaya. Nihitaha is intrinsically. That would be the English. Dur is difficult. Atyaya, duratyaya, to cross over. The ocean of material enjoyment, the material world, the different pleasures. Nihita duratyaya. Durgam patastat. Durgama. Gama, to go. Dur, difficult to cross. Kavayo vadanti. Vadanti, they say. Kavayaha, learned. Kavayaha means a poet, technically, but it means a learned person. The implied meaning. Those who are learned in Vedic literature and who are practically learned, Jnana Vijnanamast, Durgam Patas. Pataha is the path. It's English, path. Pataha, Sanskrit. Here's a word that came directly. Durgam Patas Tat Kavayo Vadanti. The path of spiritual life is very difficult. Constant practice and detachment. Abhyasena tu konteya vairagyena cha grihyate. It's possible. We shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. Hare Krishna. When a great Brahmana who becomes a yogi himself is attracted to material enjoyment, when the followers of the Vedas pray to go to Indraloka, right? That verse keeps coming to my mind. Traimam somapaf puta papa. Yajñayar ishtva swargatim prarthayante. Te punyam asadya surendra lokam ashnanti divyan divi deva bhogan. Deva bhoga. We see here somebody is also enjoying deva bhoga in this world. Instead of going to the planet of Indra, he enjoyed the same pleasures here. The same pleasures are there. Many wives, opulent place to stay, nice bed, kashipuhu. You know what it means? Soft pillow. Kashipuhu, soft pillow. Hiranya, gold. Kashipuhu, material pleasures. Same type of pleasures are described here, right? Shayya, bedding. Asana, nice places to sit. Vastra, beautiful clothing. Well, that's what the rich people of this world do, right? They go shopping in expensive shops. Right here it's where? Michigan Avenue. And in New York it's Fifth Avenue. And all you do is you spend to cover your body, which you can have something simple. I remember when I first became a Grihastha and I went to Navadvip to buy saris for my wife, they were 30, 40, 50 rupees. 30, 40, 50 rupees. How much not? A couple dollars. Nice cloth. And they'll go in these big shops and spend thousands, right? Thousands of dollars in the name of fashion. Waste of money. Waste of money. And somebody did the same thing, according to this description. Okay, they weren't shops. There were merchants of silks and velvet and, naturally produced clothing. There was fashion in those days. Even the pictures we see with the Kshatriyas, pictures means drawings, not photographs. Even in photographs of the Maharajas in India from 100 years ago. How old is photography? It's 150, 160 years old. And if you see the pictures of the kings, because the system of kings was only eradicated, or what's the word? Eradicated is one word. Demolished, revoked, stopped. 70 years ago. So if you go back and you see that type of clothing and the ornaments, and it's wonderful. They had a reputation, right, for being very opulent, even in the Western world. What's the use? How will it help to solve the real problem, which is the transmigration of the soul? Mostly people cannot understand that the soul transmigrates from one body to the other, and that the soul is under the, what is it? Law of karma, action and reaction. Yoga is the system to get out, right? To link. The word yoga means huge, comes from huge dhatu, the verbal root to join. To join the absolute truth, to get out of this material entanglement. Somebody just made his entanglement greater by indulging in all those material pleasures. Those who indulge in material pleasures, what is that verse in Gita? Bhoga Ishvarya, thank you. Prasaktanam Taya Parhita Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Samadho Navidhiyate. They cannot detach themselves from material pleasure. Those who are too attached to bhoga, enjoyment, and aishwarya, opulence. Prasaktanam, of those who are attached. Bhoga aishwarya prasaktanam. Taya aparhita chetasam. Their mind is stolen away by that attachment. Here's an example of that. But the story has a happy ending. He becomes detached after all that attachment. It's a wonderful story. Should be inspiring, the last part. That despite all of the facilities for enjoyment and actually experiencing all that enjoyment, he gave it up. Time is up. Any question? 3 questions. Yeah. Mike is coming. Oh, I lost the place.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, Shavari Muni had a purpose when he was performing his austerities, and the purpose was to become free from material entanglement.
Right.
And he became deviated from that purpose and landed, in this situation. And
Right.
then he realized he made that mistake, and then,
Right.
retired, took Vanaprastha, and then achieved perfection. Now, it doesn't mention that he is taking shelter or his relation to the personality of Godhead. There's a mention of Kinmandata, of worshiping the Supreme, and but not of Shavari Muni. It was, just a yogi. And so when we're talking about this goal of becoming free, we're talking about impersonal realization, which is basically achieving perfection without taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Is that correct?
Right.
And then, if that's the case, then patantyadho nadrita jushman and grajaha, they still will fall down from
Right.
that position.
Right.
So, what is the?
Why?
Yeah, what's the
Why are
gain?
impersonalists glorified
Especially,
sometimes?
yeah, Bhagavatam, and especially because we're talking about Atmavit,
Right.
some, but it's not really from that perspective. If
Well,
you can comment on that.
Here's what I understand is that they're also considered transcendentalists, Prabhupada said. In other words, they may not attain the other forms of liberation beyond Sayujya, which is, we say, merging into the effulgence of the body of Vishnu, and not attaining the planet of Vishnu, a form like Vishnu, living nearby Vishnu. What's the other one? And having the opulence of Vishnu. 5 of them. So some of these transcendentalists are only interested in the Sayujya, the bodily effulgence. They're not worried about falling down again, even if it says in the Bhagavatam that they'll fall down again. So it's a bona fide path to freedom from birth and death. However, Bhagavatam hints, or well, it says that verse you quoted in the 10th canto, that they will fall back into the material world. Question of time. But at the time when they're performing their austerities and their aim is liberation from the repetition of birth and death, and there's no taking shelter of the feet of the personality of Godhead, but only the desire to merge, is still bona fide. It's still one of the 5, types of liberation. So Bhagavatam makes a provision. How can I give you an example? Like non-vegetarian food is in the mode of ignorance. But Prabhupada said that low-class people can eat, but there should not be slaughterhouses. In other words, they should kill the animals themselves at home. So even that's sinful, but it's allowed. Right? So similarly, the highest perfection is to go to the planet of Vishnu. Whether that Vishnu is Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said you should not make a differentiation between Vishnu and Krishna. So whether you go to Goloka or whether you go to one of the Vaikuntha lokas, you're still with Vishnu. But in the impersonal liberation in the body of Vishnu, in the effulgence of the body, you're free from birth and death. So that provision is there. That would, let's go on to the next questions. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
I had a question about the principle you mentioned, being too attached or averse to the rules and regulations.
Oh, right.
And so for us, how can we calibrate or measure whether or not we're being too fanatic or too
Too fanatic means you follow the rules and regulations, not that you don't follow them, but imposing them on others, or sometimes even becoming so absorbed in the rule and regulation that you forget the goal, which is bhakti, devotion. But I've seen people who are very strict, and then if they want to impose that strictness on, Prabhupada was lenient. The word liberal, this is also interesting because liberal is an English word, and there are different concepts attached to that word. And so Prabhupada was strictly following the regulations, but he was liberal with newcomers at the time and place, hippies. It's raining outside, huh? Sounds like that. Anyway, so he was liberal, but he himself was not liberal in the sense of the Western concept of the word liberal being a political liberal and, like in favor of homosexual marriage. women's liberation. Prabhupada said it's the men exploiting the women. Modern concept of liberal means politically liberal, right? But there's the other definition of liberal is to be lenient as far as the rules and regulations go for new people, newcomers. But there are others who won't be that liberal. Get out. You cannot follow. Get out is just one way, or being harsh. You cannot follow. Cut potatoes in the kitchen for the next 6 months. I'm just, just giving a theoretical example of harshness. There are different ways to be harsh and to be unkind and to exhibit fanaticism. Well, fanatic Islamists want to cut off your head because you don't say that you're a Muslim. You know that. No, you don't know that. Right? Fanatic, what are they called? Wahhabis, Salafi Muslims. If you are not a Muslim, then they have a right to kill you. That's their ideology. It's fanaticism. It's insanity. It's madness, right? But they say that we're strictly adhering to the code of religion. So that's fanaticism. You don't follow the rules and regulations, you should die. Well, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was ready to cut off the heads of Jagai and Madhai. Then Nityananda Prabhu said, if you kill them, well then just kill everyone. And ultimately in Kali Yuga, Kalki Avatar will kill everyone, we believe, in the future. But at the present, it's fanatic. Ati. It's too much. Niyamagraha. Niyamas are there. For instance, one should not take intoxication. And tea and coffee is included. But we see Brahmanas, many Brahmanas drinking coffee. Traditional Brahmanas in India. But they still have a lot of knowledge. Vedic knowledge. So we may not hold that against them. Otherwise they may be strict, vegetarian, no onion, no garlic. But then they may drink coffee or tea. North India tea, South India coffee. So if we are very fanatic, these people are, fallen. That's being a bit fanatic, in my opinion. But we should follow strictly. We should not drink tea and coffee. And the next question, you had a question, right, Prabhu? I hope that was a satisfying explanation. Yeah.
So, in the first canto, the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada, in the purports, a lot of times is talking about real opulence as having land and cows,
right?
And real natural opulence of the earth and things like that. And he talks a lot about Varnashram Dharma. So I'm wondering on this point of Varnashram Dharma and Prabhupada's instruction to establish Varnashram Dharma, how we can do that without getting lost in that pursuit of, you could become too absorbed in the material goal of establishing Varnashram, but without losing, and then you could lose the essence of the Sanatana Dharma or Yuga Dharma, Harinam, Sankirtan. So that's it.
See, there should be a system for human life. Everyone is not going to be a rishi, a muni, or a yogi who, like Hiranyakashipu, stand on his one leg for 25,000 years. These are exceptional cases. Shobhari is an exceptional case. Ajamil was not an exceptional case. Both of them gave up Vedic, I think Ajamil gave up Vedic culture, and Shobhari used Vedic culture to attain material pleasure. And the four aims in life, according to the Vedas, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, take into consideration kama, which is, and another word for that is opulences. The human beings need to fulfill their basic desires. But what we say is, well, fulfill them in a sattvic, mode of goodness type of way, so that ultimately you can become detached. You see, Grihastha ashram, strict following, but it's still materialistic. You're producing children, you got to deal with the children. You're dealing with the material. Children are... Same time Prabhupada said your worship, he wrote to one of his early disciples, Mataji, wrote to him that I can't worship my deities because taking care of my son is, an obstacle. So Prabhupada said, your deity is your son. Your first duty is to take care of him. And you know this letter? You've heard about it. So, Grihastha ashram means, cleaning up after the children by the women. It's not, looks like impure activity, right? Because the children, especially a very young child, doesn't know how to go to the toilet, etc. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Ultimately, your aim is to get liberation and to become detached. But the majority of the people in the world, can't do it. They're attached. They have to have food. They have to have a family life. So don't eat meat. Don't involve yourself in sinful activity. Take Krishna Prasad, offer all of your food. This is in Gita, Yat Karoshi, whatever you do, Yat Ashnasi, whatever you eat, Yat Juhosi, the sacrifices. So instead of performing sacrifices to go to Indraloka, you're supposed to perform sacrifice to give everything to Krishna. Go to Krishna Loka. There's a difference. But you're still following the Varnashram system. There's still a family life. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. You've heard that. You bring everything into connection with Krishna. Doesn't mean that those opulences that Prabhupada, basically to keep body and soul together, if you have it, it's an opulence. There's people that are really poor in the world, right? And for them it's a struggle to eat. Now, there's a difference between someone who's intoxicated and he's not trying to get his daily meal, and someone who's a farmer or a laborer in a farm, working the land, agricultural, that's a natural life. These big cities, you don't have this natural life. They put machines in the farms and the people don't have jobs because what they should be doing is working on the farm. And you can still see it in India where there's a lot of people working, agricultural labor. It's labor intensive. And if you have a machine doing that, then what happened to the people? Where will they go? They're living like cockroaches in slums in India. Now here, the slums are pucca buildings. They're not like shanty towns like in India. But the people, they're bringing them in the city, then they have to drive someplace to have a job, and then that's miserable, so they take intoxication. And then there's, all kinds of anarchy because people are intoxicated. But looks like everything is running nicely. Yeah, everybody stops at the stoplight. Everybody puts their debit card or credit card in the gas station. They're not, looting the gas stations. What can I say? A simple type of life is advocated. Sattvic type of life, life in the mode of goodness, not life in the mode of ignorance. So we're preaching that. Prabhupada, like you said, Prabhupada explained it time and again. Few are doing it, trying to get back to an agrarian-based lifestyle. There was a movie, and I showed that to Prabhupada about New Vrindavan in Bombay. I had this little briefcase projector, and I showed it was an 8mm movie at the time. The Spiritual Frontier. Did you ever see that movie? Yadu Bara made that movie. Now there's a new movie out about Prabhupada by Yadu Bara. So years and years ago, he made 2 movies, Hare Krishna People and Spiritual Frontier. So Spiritual Frontier was, most of it was about New Vrindavan and how devotees were supposed to live simple agrarian lifestyle. And, the Prabhupada said to depend on Krishna and the cows. But to actually do that is the great challenge. Now, some people they're doing it. There are some, but few. And then the people who are not doing, we're supposed to preach to them to do it, to, follow the Varnashram system, go to the village, live a simple agrarian lifestyle, plow the land with the bullocks. This Balabhadra Prabhu used to be ISKCON Minister of Agriculture and Cow Protection. You know him? You heard his name? He's now in Alachua. He was in New Vrindavan. He had his own 150 acres of land, and he was doing everything by bull, but he had a heart attack. He's old. He's almost 70 now. So there are devotees who have been doing this, setting the example for the Varnashram Dharma. And few people in different places around the world, they're actually following it. Then those who are here in the city, who are ignorant, who are in the mode of ignorance, the effort is to uplift them by preaching this message. So you have both. Oh, my foot fell asleep, excuse me. This one is, can't. Is that logical? Okay, we're way after the time. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you very much.